I saw that, and all I could think of is they're never happy. Why? Why? They're like,
well,
okay,
no,
so
they should be happy about Lando and the droid like being a couple almost.
ooh. That it looks. You know what? I saw that because I didn't watch the movie, but I watched Mahler's Unbridled Rage video on it, and so I got to see what the. Yeah, that's a great video. So I watched that and I saw what the droid looked like, and I was like, that looks like it hurts. Like I couldn't imagine trying to fuck that. That seriously looks painful. It was all like hard edges and metal and shit, like and like rusty, you know, like Star Wars worn kind of droid. Like no.
I was at least hoping that at one point Donald Glover's character Lando would be turned on by the droid and say, "I have the weirdest boner right now."
Oh god!
Just like the meme with him in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm done with that.
It's like when you're rubbernecking on a highway, like you just can't look away from the car crash.
Yeah, it looks bad. So.
Remember when Randomer Cam made that comment on one of the Raging videos?
The weirdest boner comment?
Yeah.
Is Mike here? No, he's not here.
We lost him somewhere between the stream and the after show.
Sometimes that happens. He may have fallen asleep too.
So, it is late over there.
Yeah, it's late over there. Sometimes he falls asleep in front of the computer. Okay, so
that sounds painful.
Let's look at this article. There is now a dating site for incels, if violent misogyny is your thing, by Stephanie Harrison.
What the fuck?
Man.
Yeah, Stephanie Harrison sounds like there's a reason, like the reason why men go their own way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Forget incels.
Yeah, really. All right, well, folks, this is it. The dating website to end all dating websites has hit the internet, and it caters to the forever angry and alone. Dateandincel.com. The term incel is short for involuntary celibate. The term was originally coined by a Canadian woman hoping to provide an online community to and for lonely hearts, but has in recent years been co-opted by a specific misogynistic subculture of men who express themselves with a physical and sexual violence against women. What? What?
Are you sure that this is real? Like, I've never heard of this website before.
No, yeah, here it is. Boop. I'm putting it on the screen. I'll send you guys a link. It's a real website.
No, I am staring right at it.
Yeah, you can click on the link.
I heard about it from Misandry today, but he didn't go very far into detail.
Yeah. Love creates change. Changing the world 2 people at a time, a new dating company looking to heal the world. We help form relationships that spread a message of love and peace. Many people suffer from the negative effects of involuntary celibacy. These incels often share the same common goals as the rest of the population. Of course they do. They're people. A desire for acceptance, love, and community. We built #DateAndIncel to bring this minority group into the forefront of the online dating scene. What do you mean minority group? How do you know how many people are not getting laid or finding somebody to love? Providing them with a
feminists supposed to be for minorities anyway?
Yeah, really? Shouldn't you be speaking up for the voice of the marginalized?
That's why they label them a minority group
so much. They hate them because 80% of women are going for 20% of men, and so they're majority.
Yeah,
like imagine the male to female ratio on like this website. Like it's already pretty hot trash on other dating websites where it's mostly guys with a few women.
Jeez. So we built Date and Incel to bring this minority group into the forefront of the online dating scene, providing them with a platform to be connected with regular partners. Because these guys are irregular? If you have felt moved by the recent media attention around the incel movement, it's not a movement. These people are so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Recent attention around the incel movement and have been looking for a way to turn your romantic life into a message of hope. Hashtag Date an Incel is a service for you. We match the attributes and interests of both incels and other site users to aim for to form romantic relationships that by their very nature.
It would have been better for them to say users aiming to form.
Yeah, to aim at forming.
Too many prepositions.
Yeah, to aim to form romantic relationships that by their very nature reduce risks that plague society.
Oh yeah, that sounds totally and expressing oneself with physical and sexual violence against women. Like,
yeah.
Look at the picture below with this man violently showing this woman his romantic capabilities. How dare he?
What the fuck?
Look at this man pulling the chair out for her and pushing it back in for her.
He's violently cradling this woman in his arms.
There's something really like condescending about this website, but it does. I mean, it could be legit. Let's see. Let me. I hope I don't have to give them a credit card. Oh no, I'm.
Some guinea pigs onto it.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to the join page, but I'm not gonna fill it out. Go ahead, Hannah. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking smart girls might figure out this would be a place to find guys who do not have sexually transmitted diseases.
That's true. That's true.
Oh Jesus.
So what do they want? If you want to join,
being a thing where it's like that bad luck bill or whatever.
Actually,
about being a bad luck bill thing where it's like has sex for the first time, catches an STD.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But half the population, just about half the population, has some sort of STD or another. 1 in 6 has HPV, which can cause your body, if you got any tendency towards forming cancerous tumors, yeah, that makes it worse. So yeah, herpes is rampant everywhere. I would be like looking at this. I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not anywhere near the age when I was dating and everything, but look at this going, this is something that girls ought to consider, like that if these guys are incels and they're incels for life so far, they've never had sex, they probably also don't have STDs.
That's true. And if these girls are
rare
smart,
occasions where you can catch something that is bloodborne without having sex, but it like these would be guys that for the most part are not even in that situation.
I agree with Fly in the archetyped in chat. It seems like it would be a gold mine for women.
Whereas you go to a dating site, and a lot of girls will fuck them and leave them. There's that distinct possibility that anybody you meet on a dating site is infected with something.
Line, I think those are just called dating sites in general.
Yeah.
I know. Why? That's weird that they even have a special hashtag Date an Incel dating website.
When you have like your pick of other dating websites for depending on how serious you want to be.
Well, yeah, just sign up for all of them. I mean, and
they're all free.
But
there's women that use dating sites that way. They actually use dating sites to get guys to pay their bills.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And they don't consider themselves to be prostitutes.
They're worse.
They're not all free.
They're not all.
They're not all what?
Free.
He was saying that.
Oh no, worse. Yeah, they're not all free. I was gonna say, well, a lot of them do this like free.
Your pimp.
A lot of them do the freemium thing, I think, where you there's like a free mode, but it doesn't give you a lot of options, and then there's the premium one you pay for, and it supposedly is a lot better. Like they, increase your search, like they increase your chance of being found. Yes, pay to win.
I had a friend on OkCupid.
Electronic Arts should start a dating website, is what I'm saying.
Oh my god. Basically, if somebody liked boxes, you wouldn't be able to tell who liked you.
When you score a date, you have an enormous sense of pride and accomplishment.
All right, so what do you need to do to join? So they ask for your email address, your full name, and then they have a couple of questions. Do you identify as an incel or potential incel partner? Why would somebody need to identify as an incel? If you are involuntarily celibate, then by description, that's what you are. What does true love look like to you? This is just to make sure we don't get crazies. It's a woman who'll make my sandwiches and make babies and do nothing else, and I'll chain her to my stove. And then there's tell us a little bit about you. What defines you as a person? What are your values? And then you click for love. Powered by love, made in California. Stay the fuck away from this website. No, it seems well-meaning, but really, really, really dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know how well-meaning, like...
You know, it could be a way to root out the incels. Like, if you get a bunch of incels to sign up, then they send the police to your house. It's possible.
Especially if you live in Canada, because Canada is becoming, like, you know, a police state.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Alec.
Is this the first step? Is this the first step to the incel at Trump concentration camps?
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna line them up and shoot them. So let's move on to see what her article on it says. Let's see. Men who call themselves incels blame women who they call femoids, maybe they only say that about feminists, so, for their lack of romantic relationships and sex. Because they believe women are inherently inferior to them, they consider rape and all other violence against women to be a made-up concept. Alec Manassian, the man who barreled down a Toronto sidewalk last April and killed 10 people, claimed he did so because he couldn't get laid. No.
It seems like they're interpreting the behavior of a few trolls as the attitudes of an entire community again.
Yep, absolutely.
As per the usual.
They got their original source, or this woman's original source, comes from a website, The Cut. Is this the same The Cut that has a YouTube channel where they show that they have adults teach children how to what masturbation is? Is that the same one?
Quite possible.
Yeah. All right, so let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, the incel community is alive and thriving. Are they though? Is it thriving when you're like really lonely and you want to just find somebody to love you?
When they need a dating website.
Terrorists by half of the media? Are you really thriving?
Oh, that's totally thriving. Yeah.
Is that thriving? How do you take like the people who are probably the most marginalized and shit on and ostracized men in society and then claim that they're still powerful and thriving? How do you do that? What kind of mental gymnastics are involved to do that shit? Jesus.
Maybe they're thinking an incel is sitting there and thinking, oh, well, no publicity is bad publicity, I guess.
Yeah, right. Okay. So the incel community is alive and thriving, despite Babe.com's having helped get the largest incel group on Reddit banned last fall. By taking out the one outlet that they... Yeah, that's a worthy goal. So, yeah, they got that taken down, so now these guys can't talk to each other, at least not on Reddit.
Well, and now
let's drive them further underground. I'm sure nothing bad will come of this.
Yes.
Now they can cherry pick the worst trolls from that community without showing any evidence of whether their comments were popular or not, and claim they're representative of the community. Because the community's not there for people to look at and say, well, but these guys all told the person that said that to fuck off.
Also, interesting comment from Lion the Narc. This is good. That seems like it would be a gold mine for women that are looking for men to take advantage of. Actually, that's a good point. Women that join
dating
incel
sites in general are.
Yeah, that's what I said in response to that. That's just that card dating sites. Period.
Yeah, that's just dating sites. Yeah, for sure. I just saw it now. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Plenty of Fish is just ugh. Okay, well, anyway. Read some of their users' posts here. Though I must warn you, they get more and more terrifying the longer you look. She's including links as she goes, so. I groped and rubbed my dick against the woman on the bus home. Submitted one day ago by the V-Man. It was a really full bus. I usually don't do these types of things because I'm a scared and cowardly person. But yesterday I was just too depressed and out of it. I didn't care. She was right in front of me and she smelled so good. I just go closer, smelling her hair, and towered over her. She turned away and I started just slightly thrusting forward, rubbing my dick against her. There was no place for her to go. I did this for 15 minutes. I even skipped my stop. I didn't want to stop. It felt so good. Then she got off practically crying. I hope I do this again. Well, that's really creepy, but yeah, and then the train clapped. It sounds really creepy, but I don't know how true it is.
Sounds like
it sounds like one of those posts that the first reply to it on Reddit is usually shit that never happened.jpg.
Yeah.
Your penthouse forums.
Yeah. Like people make fun of those posts. Every Reddit subreddit gets posts that have that type of, it doesn't necessarily say that specific type of action, but that type of behavior described. I did this reprehensible thing or this pitiful sad thing, and you know, poor me or whatever. I did this really cool thing, or I did this really you know, insert unbelievable behavior here, an unbelievable scenario here, and it's basically green text stories.
Yeah. Am I still breaking up, Mr. 303?
No, you're done.
No, you're fine.
Or you're good.
Were you able to hear? Did you lose a lot from what I was reading?
I thought that was at my end.
No,
Yeah, I thought that too.
That's weird.
we were able to mostly make out what you were saying. It was like deciphering robot text.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why that would have been the case, but
maybe
I have a thunderstorm going on right now, so I thought I was about to lose power.
It was everybody. It was a little roboty, but things are good now.
Okay.
well, maybe it's kind of an irony because the person writing it was a bot.
Yeah. I don't know that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen because I don't know that any woman would have just put up with that and just like gotten off the train or whatever it was crying. So
No,
yeah,
she would have
it sounds like something. Yeah, it sounds like something you'd read about in a hentai manga comic or something, not real.
or a feminist forum. See, that's the other thing.
Yeah, or in a feminist forum. Yeah.
This stuff. She did exactly what I said. This is all a screenshot of text. This could have been from this Incel's subreddit, but it could also have been created in Photoshop, and we don't know because the subreddit is gone. So unless you use something to find the deleted posts, it's just gone. But in any case, not only is there no evidence that this was real or that it was accepted, there's nothing to demonstrate that the person who posted it was really an incel. And I remember when Reddit's men's rights subreddit was newer and feminists were trying to get rid of it, they regularly came in and posted shit to the subreddit to get it banned, stuff that was in violation of Reddit's terms of service, stuff that was like they did this thing where they would post something that you would normally celebrate. You know, my ex-wife molested my kids and I got proof and I went to court and I got custody, and then you know, she now has supervised visitation and blah blah blah, and the people in the subreddit, good on you, good for you, way to take care of things, you know, and everything. And then they would go and they'd change the text to my ex-wife was a cunt who had custody of the kids, so I shot her, and then they would, you know, try to get people outraged about men's rights activists for approving of the shooting. And there's a bot that copied, well, there was a bot that copied all of the text posts in the men's rights subreddit for a very long time because of that. So you could prove that was not the original text of the post. But now Reddit, if something has been edited, Reddit puts an asterisk, and you can actually look at deleted comments and old old comment text and everything. So it's not necessary anymore. But how do we know who posted any of this shit?
We don't. I mean, it's, you know, and again, what you can also, you know, find one example of the most extreme person anywhere.
How do we know it's not somebody trying to make the
and yeah,
how do we know
just trying to make them look bad? For sure.
How
do
we
know
this is characteristic of incel forums?
We don't know. We don't know
this
that.
Is what
I think
you
most
see in feminist criticisms
Yeah.
of these types of forums. They never provide links to the original source because the evidence wouldn't back what they're saying.
No, probably not.
It's the Sarkisian level of evidence, you know, screenshots of tweets.
Yep. So let me see. Where was I? Right. Yeah. Okay. Makes you wonder whether all that effort that they used to put into reviling their sexual assaults on Reddit. Oh no, I'm sorry. Makes you wonder whether all that effort they used to put into reliving their sexual assaults on Reddit was funneled into creating dateandincel.com, a website that seeks to normalize violent misogyny by presenting incels as marginalized, misunderstood, and misrepresented. But they are. Even though dateandincel.com is really stupid. Yeah, they're violent misogyny because Alec Manassian. Misogyny. Yeah, violent misogyny.
Like, misogyny is supposed to be defined as a hatred of women. The expanded definition is hatred and mistrust of women or something like that. There's no overt action included in its definition. It's feelings. Violent feelings? I sat next to you and was violently sad.
Bombs internally.
I was bruised by the violence of his fear. It just doesn't work. Violent misogyny. Just because you describe something as violent doesn't legitimize your fear.
But feels over reals. Yeah, violent misogyny is a really stupid term. Romance for Impact reads the heading on dateandincel.com. Underneath, the banner welcoming users to the dating site features a couple true incels would undoubtedly label a Chad and Stacy, incel terms for stereotypically attractive men and women who seem to effortlessly date and mate. It seems like you're saying that as though you're somebody that's on the outside looking in as well, Stephanie Harrison. I guess you're not a Stacy. Underneath this banner, an introduction reads, "Changing the world, 2 people at a time. A new dating company looking to heal the world." Changing the world, 2 people at a time. Then a mission statement. "We help form relationships that spread a message of love and peace. Many people suffer from the negative effects of involuntary celibacy. These incels often share the same common goals as the rest of the population, a desire for acceptance, love, and community. We built #DateAndIncel to bring this minority group into the forefront of the online dating scene, providing them with a platform to be connected with regular partners." The language here is astounding. Calling incels a minority and asserting that they share the same common goals as the rest of the population is offensive and wrong.
Just out of hand, right? Just for no reason. It's just offensive because incels are now the target, the acceptable target for everybody's hatred, and therefore expressing any sympathy for them is what's the term for things that are against the Islamic religion? Haram. Accepting, expressing any sympathy for them as human beings is haram.
Yeah, that we're not allowed to do that. No. Man, she doesn't actually want to help them. That's crazy, bro. Okay, so moving on. So they're not. Oh, and by the way, incels are not just white, and they're also not just male. And they're probably not also just straight. Although I don't think there's very many gay incels. But
I imagine there might
there
be
are some
areas where there aren't very many gay men.
Yeah.
Or where they can't communicate with each other very openly for fear of being murdered for it by their government.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Just something to think about. All right. So It's most of the population does not function off pure hatred alone. Okay, where does this link go? Because I'm curious. Pure hatred alone, my fucking ass. Archie Man, Elliot Rodger, the Isla Vista shooter, is worshipped semi-ironically but also semi-seriously. You don't know that, motherfucker. As kind of a god. His manifesto is shared and quoted, and he's constantly deployed as a meme. Well, he's a good meme. Well, at least when he was around. Incels differ in important ways from men's rights activists. While both movements are misogynistic at their core, okay. MRAs deploy a human rights framework to argue men are oppressed. Incels don't talk about rights, they just hate. Oh my god. These fucking people.
Underneath that, you have one of my followers, Charles R. Musso, says MRAs deploy human rights framework. Well, it comes up first for me because I follow him back.
Oh, here
but
we
he
go.
says MRAs deploy a human rights framework to argue that more than 0% of sexism negatively impacts men. Therefore, more than 0% of activism needs to focus on ending demonstrable anti-male sexist bias and provide direct remedy to men impacted by the same. Is that misogynistic at its core? Note that you call this myopic, missing the bigger picture, can't see the forest for the trees, etc. That's at least face-based criticism, and no MRAs expect feminism to address men's issues with direct pro-male, anti-female remedy. They just don't oppose them when they do. So here you have, he's responded to him, but of course, you know, he didn't answer anybody that responded to him. You can go through there and see there's a lot of people responded to him. He didn't answer any of them. He continued his rant below that and started on incel language as because of course they all apparently talk alike, and started giving a rundown of his beliefs regarding their behavior. Guess where his source is? Guess who his source is? Take a wild fucking guess.
Could it be
We Hunted the Mammoth?
We Hunted the Mammoth yet?
It's We Hunted the Mammoth.
Is it C drive?
No, it's not a C drive. It's a, well, unless you want to say cuck. It's a cuck drive. There's the tweet in Talk and Poll there. There's the tweet where he links to We Hunted the Mammoth. Incels hail Toronto van driver who killed 10 as a new Elliot Rodger, blah blah blah. Like the least credible source on the internet.
Well, fucking hell, man.
In all fairness, kind of verified Twitter journalists don't need sources.
Yeah, when you got that check mark, you know that means you know what you're talking about. So we should just respect him. Period. All right, so most people do not dream about stabbing women in the face. They do not believe Larry Nassar is a legit god, and they do not miss their bus stops because they are so engrossed with rubbing themselves against trapped, unwilling strangers. So basically, she reuses her fucking previous links. The statement continues. If you have felt moved by the recent media attention around the incel movement and it's not a movement, and have been looking for a way to turn your romantic life into a message of hope, Date an Incel is the service for you. We match the attributes and interests of both incels and other site users to aim to form romantic relationships that by their very nature reduce risks that plague society. At the bottom of the website, it is a testimonial from 32-year-old Rebecca, who definitely exists. So I don't know if she's being sarcastic, but I'm going to read this unless somebody was going to say something because I heard a noise.
Well, obviously, she doesn't think women who would actually date an incel exists because she doesn't have any sympathy for them herself. She doesn't see them as human beings herself. So therefore, there could be no other woman who's a better person than her that might actually consider their human characteristics before considering them dangerous because feminists said so.
Well, from a purely pragmatic standpoint, I mean, if women date incels, the guys stop being incels, right? So
yeah,
that's the solution.
Enforce monogamy. Jordan Peterson, 2018. No, but
yeah, technically it's impossible to date an incel. It's only possible to date a former incel, you know, unless you have to be chaste when you're dating.
Yeah, well, I want to make sure that I'm clear. This website, assuming it's legit, which I'm not sure that it is. I think you know, if you're an incel and using dating website, you're probably using them already. But if you are one, I wouldn't necessarily go to dateincel.com because it kind of makes you into a weird charity case that I think the selling point is if you're a woman that wants to change the world, you should date one of these guys. And I think that's a really bad reason to go into a relationship with anybody. Don't do it.
But Brian, they can change them.
Yeah, I guess there is that.
I can fix him.
Isn't it also a bit weird how this obscure website immediately got picked up by the feminist press?
Mm-hmm. What, were they looking for it, or like, I don't know, or maybe the person who started the website thought they could use the whole incel thing to promote their website. Like maybe it used to be a website that was called something else and they changed it, the whole brand. They were like, oh, we can make a lot of money if we do this. That's why I think it comes across that way. Like after this website didn't appear to have come into existence until after the incident with Alec Manassian and basically the conversation around incels. Because even after Elliot Rodger did that, the incel conversation didn't exist, even though we knew Elliot Rodger was an incel. Or at least he spent time in the PUA hate forums, and I believe the incel forums too. So this website would have come into existence after Alec Manassian, and it looks pretty bare bones right now. Plus, by the way, that form to sign up, you don't get to sign up right away. You actually have to they have to look over your answers and then decide if you'd be good for the website. So I'm really suspicious of this thing, even though it does come across as somewhat, say, compassionate towards incels. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to read this personal testimony. I had been looking for a way to contribute to solving the problems of the world with incredible love, integrity, and humility. Really. Having been single for a few years whilst actively lobbying for democratic reform, my friend showed me an ad online she has seen for #DateAnIncel. It felt like the perfect way to unite both my professional and personal desires. Unlike other dating sites, this platform provided a safe space for me to discover myself and the incel community, and eventually Brad. That's not, no, not a real man.
the whole safe space language sounds like it's written by a feminist.
Absolutely.
This whole thing starts looking like a con to me. Maybe a bit more conspiracy minded.
Well, actually, it could be
fighting for democratic reforms is probably an SJW.
Absolutely. I was just thinking this could be more nefarious. The more I read this, the more I think this is even worse. Imagine this. Imagine this is a real thing that she's using to get incels to sign up so that she can get them to essentially support her long-term goals of, say, democratic reform. Like she could be recruiting for another Antifa right now, for an example, because and that is just like, this is a bit tinfoil hat maybe, but I don't know. Think about it like this. All right, Antifa, by any means necessary, and some of these other groups, Black Lives Matter, they're run by feminists, and their whole point is to just do activism. Okay, all these like anti-fascist groups, all this, all these things that are trying to tear down the current administration, fight back against hate, all this bullshit. They're run by feminists and they operate under the progressive stack. And a lot of the men that join are, shall we say, probably like not the most romantically successful. Like they're looking for validation from women. That's why they end up in these groups, which are basically like cults. Also, think about Islam. What kind of men are the men that they get to kill themselves for Allah? The kind of men that are looking to get laid. The kind of men who are looking for love from women. That's why they're promised virgins in the afterlife. That's why they are happy to throw their lives away. That's how they get radicalized. It's almost like sex is powerful in that way. And I wonder if why would you even talk about actively lobbying for democratic reform and then later say starting this dating website is a good way to unite both my professional and personal desires? How?
Even if it's not a serious recruitment thing, it could be just fishing for, incel, for people who are incels, and just collecting data on them. Oh, look at this misogynistic what this misogynist incel said about this. So this could be a feminist initiative.
Absolutely. But I'm inclined to, I don't know. It's sounding crazier and crazier. All right, so unlike other dating sites, this platform provided a safe space. I already read this. And then she met Brad. Again, I don't know that there's any incels named Brad, but Brad had never been with a woman before and had been nervous of signing up, but had also been encouraged by a friend. We started chatting and developing a magical online secret world we could escape to. This secret world didn't care about your relationship history, your successes, or where you're from. It cared about your interests, passions, and desires. Wow, that sounds like a great idea. I should probably link with people myself based on my interests, passions, and desires instead of my history and all that shit. 3 months later, Brad and I agreed to meet in person. I knew instantly Brad was the man I loved. I knew I could help him, and that in my helping him, I would be utilizing my romantic life as a signal for greater change. Rebecca, 32, Boise, Idaho, I think? Yeah.
Instant love plus utilization. Well, this doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah. Whoa. All right. So last paragraph. It would be cool if by dating Brad, Rebecca cured him of years of misogyny and defined by violence, but it's also impossible and not Rebecca's damn responsibility. Incels do not deserve a service that introduces women to them because incels think they are owed sex by all women. This is actually, yeah, what you're talking about is totally going to solve the problem. There's more at play here than a few dudes unable to recognize the impact of their own flaws on their lack of sexual success. And a website designed to trap women by positing incels as misunderstood loners is one of those things. So she thinks this is a trap for women. This thing. Are you serious? Okay. So that's the end of the article. Wow.
Wow is right.
This woman's crazy.
Yeah, but I think so is the person who started the site. And what I've been talking about in the chat. When I was younger, and I've always said, I was a dipshit when I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. But one of my problems was gravitating toward underdogs, like I described in our chat. There's a certain type of chick that gravitates toward the underdog. And that's not necessarily good for the underdog. This is a person who's an enabler of dysfunction and constantly making excuses for the guy. Oh, he's just misunderstood. Oh, he just needs a break, and that kind of thing. And it's something that you really have to work to grow out of, and it can be a lifelong behavior. And it's something you can even find yourself slipping back into and doing with friends or coworkers or family members or whatever, where you're like, well, yeah, this is holding you back in life, but I'm going to make all kinds of excuses for it because X, Y, Z. And it's a function of, feeling bad for the person's situation and feeling bad about not being able to single-handedly go in and fix the situation for them. And so your next easiest thing to do that's not the best thing to do is to make all those excuses. And you get a guy stuck with a woman like that, he will never get past the things that are his roadblocks to forming a successful relationship. And like I dated guys that when I was dating them, they got worse because of that. And I've been at the other end of that relationship. I've dated the person who does that and ended up becoming a worse person myself because somebody was making excuses for my shortcomings. And it's really the worst thing one of the worst things you can do to a partner that people won't recognize as abuse. And there's other bad things that people won't recognize as abuse that you can do as well. But that one is like coddling people's dysfunction and not being their cheerleader for self-improvement, not being their inspiration to grow out of things that are holding them back, or challenge themselves, or reach for their goals and do the actual things it takes to meet those goals and so on. Not being that cheerleader is pretty damaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this site, if it's luring women in with the idea that they're going to be the salvation for these guys, it's going to get a lot of that underdog seeker that just wants to make things all better for some poor, mistreated, misunderstood guy. And they're not going to be a help to him at all.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone's in the chat, or I'm sorry, in the comments section underneath, there's a lot of women that are worried that this is in fact a trap to be like stuck with some violent, misogynist, rapist guy that's gonna hurt them. It's crazy. That's crazy, the lack of sympathy for... And I don't like the incel website, but come the fuck on. Like, to think so lowly of these people is just... It's really pathetic.
It's not even lack of sympathy, it's outright hatred in some of these comments.
It's hostility.
And it's nonsensical hatred. One of these comments says that they refuse to date human females. Come on. It's in the name. Yeah.
It's not refusing anything. It's being desperate. I wish that they were less gynocentric. They might be better off. They should probably, I wouldn't say... They should probably grow more indifferent to women's attention. At least enough that they can live a healthy life and they're not like spending all their time on forums talking about how much they really want to be close. But I understand that the need for human contact is not just some emotional or psychological thing. It actually has health consequences and physical consequences to people. And if this was women we were talking about, if it was like about incel women that are having like they're not able to find a good man and no man loves them and they feel ugly and unattractive, there would be outpourings of sympathy. Football players would wear a fucking specially colored bandana on their arm in reverence of these poor lonely women that need attention. People would be like starting GoFundMes to send them strippers, but because it's men, we have less than let's say indifference toward them. We're like you say, we're openly hostile. We find them more than pathetic. We find that they shouldn't even be on this planet. We don't want to deal with their suffering and their pain. It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
It's the very definition of punching down, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It doesn't get any lower.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's something deeply ingrained that people see people like that and just go, they bypass sympathy, bypasses empathy, bypasses everything and just goes straight to, this is a dead end. This person is, just dead weight. They're never going to recover. They might as well be just dead.
Yeah.
And it's the gynocentric view of, the difference between male and female versions. One is valuable, the other is to be mocked and derided.
Yeah, oh my god, I can't look at these comments anymore. There's just nothing but vitriol. It's really
made a mistake of scrolling down past them. And the next one is, you may also like in WTF beauty trends, and the picture is just
giant eyebrows that cover your forehead are the latest beauty trend to give me a headache.
There's the female incel.
I spotted the female incel. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's mildly disturbing.
Good lord. All right. Well, with that said, I'm gonna go cook dinner. Wait, why did this? Oh no, that's the other show. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go cook dinner, guys. So I want to thank you for joining us on the after show. This got kind of dark. What was that?
What's the point of having a wife? You still have to cook dinner.
No, I cook my own dinner because I have a grill and I'm the only one who operates the grill. That's why. It's hashtag it's my time. I'm grilling steaks, and I do that. So
I might have to yank your patriarchy card.
Well,
no. A good wife knows when to keep her hands off the remote and when to keep her hands off the grill.
Yeah.
Well, you don't touch the grill, you're gonna get burned.
Hashtag it's his grill.
It's my grill. I am the grill master.
There you go.
Hashtag raise the stakes. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off. And I'm gonna go spend time with my grill. And I'll talk to you guys I'll talk to you guys next time. So